YouTube, Guitar Worm here, and I'm here to review the Boss Katana 50. Today's review is going to focus on the amp as an amp and not as the recording equipment. I haven't spent too much time with that. So I will give you a review and let you know whether it's worth buying. The short story is it's a great amp. However, there's some also other great amps in a similar price range I'm going to recommend at the end of this video. So stick around. Thanks. The first thing that you're going to notice if you play Boss, maybe not at a guitar store, but if you take it home, the first thing you're going to notice is that this thing is loud. So this replaced my home rig of a Marshall MG 100, which is about 2 or 3 times as big, definitely 3 times as heavy. This is a very light rig, and it's just, I don't know, I'm sure it has something to do with the open back. The MG was closed, but this just fills up a room. I brought it and played with the band I usually jam with, and they were blown away by it too. So I'll just run you through the controls. There's 5 channels. One's acoustic, so really 4 main channels you can see there on the left. You have your gain and volume control, your EQ. These are the effects, which I'll show you how those work in a second. Your tone settings, so this is if you actually, you can set your own channels and the effects the way you like them. And then you have your master volume. Let's see if, there we go, I'm not used to doing this. Okay, master volume, and what I actually really like is the power control. So it has a standby, it's a decimal 5 watts, so half a watt to 25 watts to 50 watts. So it's got a little attenuator, even though it is a solid state amp. And actually, you might think that's kind of goofy, but I actually really enjoy that setting on this amp. With your effects, okay, so if you go to the left, this would be your boost. On this side, your mod. So if you look down here, you'll see, so if I went to the left with the factory settings, I'd have blues drive with that knob. And then on the right would be the chorus. And I'll show you guys some examples of it. The one in the middle with the delay here, if I go to the left on the first setting, it's going to be a digital delay and a tremolo if I went to the right, like right here. And then if I want to get down to like, that's all on the green channel. So let me turn this on so you can actually see that. Okay, so if I turned it on, you'll see the color change. So there's my, looks like I'm a little bit colorblind, so it looks like it's the red channel. Sometimes I have trouble telling the difference between the lights. And then if I hit it again, I'm going to go to green. Nope, that was orange, and now I'm on green. Okay, so that's just how easy it is. So right there it comes set with 3 channels for each half, right? So that's the factory settings. It comes with all these down here. 3 different kinds of reverb, and then you can plug the amp in and go to the factory, go to the website, and then download your favorite Boss pedals. So then you can change any of these 3 out. And then you can also set your favorite tones right in there. Okay, so that's the basics of the amp. All right, guys, I'm using my Paul Reed Smith SE Custom 24. It's got Seymour Duncan's SH2s and 4s. I got that correct. And I'm just gonna play you through the channels really quick. So I'll start on the clean. And just so you know, it's on the 25 watt setting. The master volume's at maybe 10 o'clock, and then the amplifier volume's at about noon, gain's at about noon. Okay, I'll crank the, so you get a couple different sounds to that. I'll turn up the volume a bit. Add some more gain to the clean. The crunch. So now I'm on the lead channel. Play the same thing just so you get an idea of it. distortion to the brown, a little more gain. So gain's up at 3, 4 o'clock. You can hear the feedback. So that is that looks like the blues overdrive. And now the last one will be the full out distortion. Okay, reverb's in the middle. I don't know if I'll capture it in this video or not, but what I like about the settings is you definitely, I'm gonna move up to the brown channel, you get more so obviously when you up the wattage. So if I crank the volume up at 1/2 watt, okay, it's not completely cranked, but pretty close. I'm back on the brown channel, 1/2 watt. Now I'll jump to 25 watt. Even if I'm cranking the volume way back, there's just that umph you can't get on the 1/2 watt, right? So you crank it up, and then if you jump up to the 50, even if I turn the volume down, I'm still gonna get more of that umph. And actually I love the standby because when you're unplugging cords, whenever somebody walks into the room, you can flick it to standby really fast, and it doesn't, you just have it silenced without having to turn your amp on or off or getting feedback, anything like that. Okay guys, just a couple concluding thoughts. I definitely think it's a great amp. I think you'll be blown away by the sound. It's got a lot of versatility, and it's easy to use. The one thing I will say, when you're switching the knobs, sometimes the digital sounds, right, a modular amp, it does have the artificial flavor. You just get that taste of it, especially me who's been playing just standard amps for my whole life. But it's easy to tweak out. You play with the EQ or the gain or whatever, and it's easy to get a better sound out of the amp. So that's what I love. I don't like amps that are difficult to use at all or hard to find a good sound. If you're looking for a straight recording amp, I'd probably recommend the Yamaha TH10, which obviously a 10 watt amp, literally a desktop. You can't put a cable out to a 4x12 or anything on the back of it. But when I played it, some of the distortion sounds, the heavier sounds, I actually thought were better out of the Yamaha. Again, another small amp I just played, or small head, was the Vox 50 MV, which is only about this big, literally. Fantastic clean sounds. I was playing it through an 8-inch speaker. You just had three knobs, gain, tone, and volume. And you crank the gain up and you get a real classic rock distortion on there. And of course you could add pedals, and you could also plug that thing into a 4x12. So it was a very impressive amp in a similar price range. But of course that box isn't meant for recording, right? The Boss Katana has all these options, plus you can plug it into a computer. It comes with free software, and you can record, which I've spent no time with. So that's why I'm not going to talk about that today. But the Boss Katana is a great amp for somebody that's looking for an amp that does everything. Very light, very loud. You could definitely play gigs with it. I know the guy at the guitar store told me he's a couple of locals that play all the time are using it to play at some pubs. If you're playing with a drummer in like a punk or a heavy metal band, I don't know if it's loud enough. I honestly don't know. I've played with my drummer like once or twice, but he's a very loud drummer, and we weren't, like, it was for a short time. So I can't say. It's probably a touch on the small side if that's what your main purpose is. But other than that, it's a great amp. And hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thanks.